All right, so Ricardo saw a couple of things. So a couple of things that the rest of us have not seen. So that will be the spy action comedy Argylle, which I wanted to see because of the director slash writer
Right.
Matthew Vaughn, right? You know, I
Me
like
too.
yeah, I kind of like when he does these subversive takes on, the spy genre. Right? So like I really enjoy Kingsman, the first one, but
Right.
the argument with the second one, which I did see in theaters, it was the Roger Moore problem, where it's like
You're right.
come with a real good movie and then you follow up not so good, So it's like that. I felt like that. But I wanted to see because I like when he writes and directs shit. Like he did.
I don't remember seeing the Kingsman prequel though. Did that ever come out? It came out, right?
Or the Kingsman. I
Right.
think it's because of COVID that kept
Okay.
the release date kept being pushed now. So I think it
Okay.
eventually came out in theaters. But by the time you were like, well, we home though, so
Yeah, and they tease Hitler at the end, like some of like I think I saw that came out. Well, I never saw it.
yeah, I never saw
It was Rasputin, not
Yeah.
It was Rasputin.
Oh, Rasputin. Oh,
But they didn't tease Hitler as a villain at the end.
And there was another. They talk about the war.
No, Rasputin was the
And then-
villain, but they tease. It's not a big like tease, and they tease him like he's Thanos or something like that. That bullshit, no.
Mhm.
Whatever.
Mhm.
Anyway, like I to Argylle. Argylle, fuck yourself.
Yeah, talk about Argylle sucks now. So yes, let's go.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I was very excited for this because of the premise too. I was like, oh, there's a real cool idea of, it's a spy, but it's a spy book. But she's so the spy book so close to the real spy stuff that real spies trying to go after her because they're wondering how is she getting so close to the actual truth about it. And talk about a great idea with a terrible execution, absolutely atrocious execution. So yeah, how to describe what's going on here, boy? Right. So basically, it's your girl, what's your name, boy? Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah, she's an author.
Yeah, she my girl. She my girl.
Yeah. She do she thing. She directs Sidewall. She have a big boom. She cool, right?
Yeah.
And so she write this book called Argylle, and it's this super popular spy genre book. She's like a basically like a genre care type author. And the whole point is that she keep, the writing of the book, it shockingly coincides with the real life spy stuff, and they find it too strange that this person could do this. Like, how is this possible? How is this possible that they could line up like more or less 1-to-1? Sam Rockwell is the main spy guy who's like basically the Argylle, who Argylle supposedly based on, and then so on and so forth, and they keep going on, and then it's going okay, normal storytelling, and then they do the big twist. I'll put that in quotes. Because again, on paper, I can imagine a better scriptwriter making a working concept of this. But yeah, this is pretty much Kingsman, but worse in almost every fucking way. Like worse in almost every way. Like if you like Kingsman.
Kingsman Part 2 then.
I go straight up saying I think it was on Kingsman 2, because at least Kingsman 2 was doing something kind of interesting. This was just Kingsman. Similar story, similar idea, even similar thing. Sam Jackson shows up, except he's not a villain this time. It's do you guys want to spoil it? Oh yeah, all right, whatever. Spoilers, fuck you.
Yeah.
Argylle, fuck yourself. Spoilers. So yeah, Argylle, she's really Argylle. That is her name. Why it's called Argylle is because it's her name, and she is actually a secret CIA secret agent of some sort, and they brainwash she into writing the book, and that's why the book's so accurate. That is it. And she's like a super agent too.
You had me at brainwash thread.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And they could brainwash her, but they could brainwash her to target other people, and it's a whole thing. It is so
is
stupid.
she like a doll, like a dollhouse? Is that basically it?
Well, I was thinking of that, and that's why I was so frustrated, because this was written better with Dollhouse. Got Dollhouse how many years ago, and it's Dollhouse all over again. I was like, yeah, listen, Tracy, thank you for bringing that up. It is pretty much Dollhouse also, as again, it's like you're not sure who you are, but you could really be this, and and this was terrible. Holy shit, dude! Like I cannot believe. I know what me get frustrated. So you see people, what you call them, Ashton. You worried about musicals? There's another more horrifying and disturbing trend in Hollywood, which is this whole spy but rom-com thing, and we get a good version of that with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. But this is like the bad version of that. How many of these spy-ish but rom-com kind of movies going on? Chris Evans was in one with Anna de Armas the other day, and that was bullshit. And then,
Ghosted. Yeah, I heard that was
yeah,
bad.
and then we had another one
I
with
don't know if you saw it, Tracy, but yeah, I heard it was bad.
and then it had another one with Rock in it and wishing him Wonder Woman, and that was bullshit too.
Oh,
and
yeah,
all of them have the same fucking pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them are the same pitch, which is, well, we really this, but we are unusually attractive, but we're also spies and we're romance. And they just do the same lame shit from Kingsman, but just way lamer. Which is it have a big shootout and it highly stylized action, but none of it interesting or engaging in any way. And I cannot believe I waste money to watch this garbage shit. Holy shit. Like I feel I travel too far to watch this, and I just had to travel like 2 blocks or whatever to watch this. It was so bad.
As we stick it with spoilers, right? I hear that Henry Cavill wasn't in the show that much.
Right. So right, what to do with that? That was the last fuck you. That is the part of this. I just put this dog. Like I was tolerating it. It was going to get a 4 out of 10, and then they do something with him at the end. I'm like, fuck you, movie, go away. Enough. Yeah, this guy I think a 3 out of 10, maybe a 2 out of 10. This was so stupid, Judd. Holy shit, I cannot believe somebody said, again, ideas over execution, because again, I can imagine a version of this script that if it punch up, it could be funny and you time the joke better and you make it work. And we got that with the Kingsman. And well, Tracy brought up Dollhouse. Like, we got that. It have a version of this that could work, but it set itself up until the big reveal reasonably well. And then the reveal happened. I was like, all right, well, this is just a colossal waste of my goddamn time. Like, seriously, I was hoping it was going to do something better after that, but if I know it was going to end as it was, knowing from at the point of the twist, I'd leave the movie. I'd just straight up walk out, go down 5 floors and get a beer. Seriously, fuck this movie. Like, this movie is terrible. Not as bad as Expendables 4, but almost as bad. And yeah, it was just a colossal waste of my time, because in the end of the day, it really feel like, what was the point of this? Utterly pointless in terms of it. Yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
No, I was just going to ask you: is it bad, or is it guilty pleasure bad?
No, it will for a lot of people, for a lot of people, and you might fall into the guilty pleasure bad camp, because there's a lot of camp in this. There's a lot of camp in this, especially when Bryce Dallas Howard learned she's special skills and she started to do this. Like, it have a whole part involving skating on a big action sequence involving skating, and it looking like she's skating on ice, but it's supposed to be oil, and I like, but oil don't work like that. Skating on it, whatever. Because she's on ice skates, whatever. It real stupid, but whatever. It's a big dumb, campy action sequence. A bunch of them, like about 2 or 3 of them, like in a row. And it's like, guys, you don't know how to structure this shit better. Incredible disappointment by Matthew Vaughn out of all people, because I was expecting something better from him. But yeah, this movie was terrible. Right? Absolute nonsense. Rubbish movie. Katrina O'Hara was in this, and she was like wasted. When she named Dua Lipa was in this for some reason. Like, why are you in this? Yeah, Ariana DeBose, why are you in this? You're wasting your talent. Stop wasting your time. However,
no.
I hope you get. Listen, I hope you get a bag. Yeah, Sophia Botella was in this, by the way. Like, again, I hope all you get a bag.
That's Sophia too.
Yeah, all right. Listen, I hope they get a bag. If they get a bag, fine. Whatever. You get a bag, you do your thing, you act your movie, you do your job. But yeah, this is a colossal waste of my time, John. Holy shit. Like, I can't believe it just doesn't come together so well. It's a utterly botched, like, reveal and how the twist should come together. And then the big reveals and the coming downs at the ending was just like a waste of my time, John. Like, yeah, horrible, like, okay idea, solid enough idea in my opinion, absolutely atrocious execution. 3 out of 10. I hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Wow, so now we have a worst of the year contender right here, boy.
Worst of the year contender, of course, definitely on the list area. I don't put that shit down on my phone, Judd.
I love this review the most.
Yeah.
This is the best.
Yes.
This is the best review for the whole day. It was amazing.
Yes,
Love it.
the most venom, like, fuck I
They're gonna waste my goddamn time. They waste my goddamn time. And even worse, I went in completely sober, Not a snag in my body, nothing. So like that was like, wow, boy, my analysis on top point, just watching this nonsense play out. Yeah, I just disappointed Matthew Vaughn out of all people. Like, you put this together, you dude, you have a solid track record, most all things considered, and for you to give me this bullshit, come on. Big man like you, nah man, you're too big for this.
Yeah, man.
Anyway.
Yeah, shame on Matt. Shame on you, Matt. Shame on you, Matt.
Right.
Coming from me.
So
right? Yeah.
Right. So moving on from one of the worst to what I think might be one of the best.
Right.
Orion and the Dark.
Yeah.
I thought this was pretty good.
Okay.
So what this does,
nice.
So what it is that you have this kid called Orion. He very neurotic, afraid of everything, typical. He big boy like he afraid of the dark, thing that you shouldn't be afraid of. And basically what happens is that eventually he gets into he afraid of the dark, most power goes, and then he actually meets a physical manifestation of the dark. And the idea is that the dark have to prove to him that, well, being the dark is not so bad, and it's supposed to teach that lesson of the dark. But when they get into the end of the first act, about him being afraid of everything and his bullies and bees and just being a general neurosis, it's a kind of it going with that. They do a kind of in my opinion, well, it's Charlie Kaufman, so I'm not surprised, but we get some meta. We get a little bit of Princess Bride something. You realize, is somebody telling the story. I'm like, what? And you find out it's him as an adult telling the story to his daughter. And then they frame it as the connection of them telling this story and the connection of child to son. From father to daughter. Like how they do that. And it's a generational thing. And then the entire conceit is just, well, him telling the story and then building the legend and building the logical rules. But what they do is they justify how the rules is as he kind of haphazard because it's him telling and making up the story on the fly for his daughter. But the daughter old enough to understand, it's still a story. And the reason why we afraid of the dark is because of this evolutionary and biological reason that she like way prodigious and for her age. And then I won't tell you what she does later, but it's Jacob Tremblay as the younger child, Colin Hanks as the older version of himself. And then they get all of the other people playing like that. Well, not that, it's the dark, but it's all the stuff that you should be afraid of in the dark. So unexplained noises, and then it have a guy who's like one person who's put you to sleep, but the other person's wake you up to keep you, who's an insomniac. And then you have the dream woman who's played by Angela Bassett. She's pretty good. And it's everything about nighttime. And then, dark in relationship with the light, and the light is passed around and turn on everything, but he doesn't make everything dark. And the balance between light and dark and the need for both. And is why it works is because everything in the context of this meta story. Again, Charlie Kaufman, I put him as one of the kings of meta. It's him telling the story to the girl, and then how he didn't know how to finish the story with the girl, and then they do something with that. And how you need, so they didn't just do a straightforward kind of Pixar thing where it's just a story and it's just a metaphor and you just have to get the metaphor. No, they put it in terms of that conceit, and then there's a final reveal involving the story that, again, if you were to just treat it at face value, don't make a lick of sense because where that come from, where this come from. Well, no, in the context of a generational connection, it make perfect sense as to why this would be told this way. And I thought this was kind of brilliant. The way how it's told and it's framed, and it has had me on my seat because you're into the story as it is on face value, and you want to enjoy it for its own conceit as it is, but then they layer it on to the meta aspect. And it's really brilliant in that way. And it's Kaufman for kids because the central message and ideas are very, heavy ideas. It's existentialism and why I should be afraid and why I shouldn't be afraid and whatnot. And they make it work for what it is. But I thought this was really, 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 really clever, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just great voice acting. Everybody bounced off each other quite well. Especially, the guy who plays Death, I forget the actor, but Jacob Tremblay, and I think Paul Walter's Death. Sorry, I say Death. Dark. He's the manifestation of darkness. But it also, there's something with Death that comes in the storyline later. And it's heavy stuff. It's heavy stuff. But Charlie Kaufman balances it really well. The director, I don't know who this guy. I don't know if him from anything else, but apparently his name is Sean Charmetz. He's very good. He cuts together and puts together everything reasonably well in terms of getting the voice work and how that animation works together. And it really feels like in the vein of a Pixar movie, where a Pixar movie does the stuff well for kids, but it also does stuff that clearly an adult can appreciate and make it work in terms of the more the existential aspect of it or the more adult themes of it, and they make it work. And I did not expect to enjoy this as much as I did. So far it probably had to get almost like a perfect score. I can't think of any flaws off the top of my head. It was a little slow at parts, so that's the only thing that might hold it back. So I want to say a 10 out of 10, but it's probably a 9.5 because I could find little nitpickies here or there. But the nitpickies are addressed in the narrative, so that's why I currently say it's a nitpicky, because it's explained why it is because of the meta aspect. And it's not a cheap out meta, right? The meta aspect of it has strong emotional heart. And when you see a certain character at the end, it's straight up Charlie Kaufman. Like it's straight up. All right, it's Charlie Kaufman as a kid, and he doing his own narrative or whatever it is. It feels like that, and I kind of love this. I strongly recommend this, Orion in the Dark.
Nice.
For me personally, it really worked. I think a lot of people are gonna love it. It was not too trippy. You could follow it. And I was thinking, it had me thinking, why is that all of this and this? And the typical my critic reaction stuff now. What the movie done? Why are you putting all this extra bullshit in? And they explain that. And then when it comes down to the end, it's like, all right, that all of that is explained and going forward in terms of like where the arc going to go and why and the contextual analysis of it. And yeah, I thought this was kind of brilliant. If you do the meta stuff right, the other person who does the meta stuff right really well is like Dan Harmon. It's up there. Like seriously, this is up there with like Rick and Morty Story Train episode. That shit, no.
Oh wow.
That level of like, yeah. It's that level of cleverness. As I said, I put there are 2 or 3 guys I put them on the Mount Rushmore of good meta material, and Charlie Kaufman is one of them. Yeah. This was I thought was really well done because children can still follow it and enjoy it. It's not like it's above anybody's head or you're gonna blow over some kid's head and their eyes gonna roll back in the back of their head. Nothing like that. It's really solid stuff. I thoroughly love this. It really works in terms of the conceit. It's reasonably funny, and I suppose they could have punch up the humor a little bit. But I think 100% of this works. Given when you see all was said and done, coming down to the ending, it really had me going, and I thoroughly love this. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, 10 out of fucking 10. I'm gonna see it because it was pretty damn good. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I had a lot of fun with this. And it was a total palate cleanser coming home from Argylle, so that was a big factor.
Right.
Argylle was just kind of pissed him off. It kind of pissed him off a little bit. It's like, I can't believe but you won't give me that bullshit. I went home, I had a little bit of sack in the fridge, take a 2 of that, and then I watch this, and I thoroughly love this. I don't put on this. I expect it to be good, and I end up enjoying it a lot more than I expected. Right, not because of the BS, right? It's because it was a fucking awesome movie. I strongly recommend it. 10 out of 10. I'm saying it.
Lovely,
This guy probably going to be on my best of the year because I try to think of what the flaws are, and I don't think enough of it. Like for me, at least so far, I'll probably give it a rewatch and try to nitpick it. But like all the nitpicky things was there deliberately because of the framing device, right? That's what it is. All I'll say is Princess Bride. If you know what Princess Bride framing device was, it's that, and they make it work. 10 out of 10. I loved it.
Wow. I am like shocked by this review, man. So yes, definitely I'm gonna check it out. It's on Netflix. I have no excuse. And yeah, I have a feeling I'm gonna love it just as much as you do, buddy. So yeah, thank you so much for the review. Thanks for the recommendation, and also thank you for warning me about how bad Argylle was. Cause
skip that bullshit. Don't go and see it.
Yeah,
do not go and see it. I don't want you to go and see it because I spoil it for you. Like you don't need to go and see it for the twist. The twist is shit. Twist is trash.
I will wait till it come out digitally so I could see for myself. But thank you.
Yeah, rubbish.
Get enough that I don't have to spend cash to watch it.
Yeah.
But what is way Orion and the
Dark. Yeah.
Orion and
yeah, great.
Sure, definitely gonna check it out, man. So thank.
Yeah, watch that shit. No, go and watch it. Stop the podcast. Go watch it.
But I don't talk about something else. So.
Yeah. Okay. Like talk about something else because it's another good movie. Let go.
Yes, it is. All right.
Yeah.